Okay, so welcome back to another glorious day in the core. Now, for this one, as you'll notice, the board is quite a bit bigger. We've gone and got the Get Away From Her expansion, so we're redoing the campaign from the start, including that. So I'd like to think I've learned a fair bit since the first dry run of this, so hopefully it's going to go a lot more accurately to what's supposed to happen. But also we've got the extra things, so we've got extra tiles added on the board. The endurance deck is bigger, the motion tracker deck is bigger. We've also got other equipment. For example, Ripley has a very nice combat knife here, which reduces her defense by 1, but I can exhaust it at any point to reroll a failed defense roll. So nice little things like that. It's also affected all the campaign missions, so they are larger, there is more to do. They will probably last longer as a result, but let's see how we crack on with this. It's a brand new campaign, so we're starting from the beginning with Mission 1, Newt. So, in this mission, we need to find and locate Newt, recruit her, and then escape the board alive. So, on the board, we have these blips here that have the white outline around them. Now, under one of those, it could be Newt. There could also be xenomorphs under there, we don't know which one. So, we're going to have to go there and either reveal them by looking at them, or we can use the interact action on the computer token, just over there, which will allow us to look at any one face down blip token, so we could actually look before we get there. The big mistake I made the first time is that you need to actually calm Newt down once she's revealed. So when the token's flipped and we know where Newt is, her little miniature will jump on the board and she will always move away from Marines except for Ripley until we calm her down. And to calm her down we need to get within 2 spaces and line of sight and take an interact action. Then we roll a 4 or less on the Marine dice and then she joins the team. Then we can escape the board. So, we also don't draw motion tracker cards until turn 4 for this mission. Since there's only one hero character, Ripley, we draw 2 motion tracker cards per turn. Let's just have a quick look at the fire team before we get cracking so everyone knows what we've got. So, the one hero character we have is Ripley. She's armed with the pulse rifle, combat knife, body armour, and Hadley's Hope map. We've got Gorman armed with a flamethrower to try and combat his terrible aim score. A shotgun for the exact same reason, because it always hits on 5 or less. Body armour and a flare. We have Frost, who's got his flamethrower, a pistol, body armour and a shoulder lamp. We got Hicks, who has his pulse rifle, grenades, a medical scanner and a shoulder lamp. We've got Hudson, pulse rifle, pistol, body armour and a bypass. And then we've got Vasquez with smart gun, M4 helmet and motion tracker. So, another thing different is there's quite a few barricaded doors on the map that we're going to have to potentially try and remove out of play so we can actually advance down the map and get where we need to go. So, going to be a very interesting mission, so let's dive straight in to turn 1. Okay then, so at the start of the Marine phase, Ripley activates and we recycle 2 endurance cards and draw 1. None to recycle, so we just draw a card. Draw 4 endurance cards and exhaust 2 cards from your hand. Meh. Okay, so we'll activate Ripley, and there are 2 blips here, and because there's no black dividing lines between us and them, we can immediately see them. So we flip them, 3 xenomorphs, 1 xenomorph. Let's get those on the board. Okay then, so immediately from the off when we've left the dropship, we have spotted a couple of xenomorphs blocking our way into Hadley's Hope. So let's try and deal with those before we go any further. So we'll use Ripley's first activation to try and thin down this group over here. So we will exhaust a card to attack with the pulse rifle. Ripley's aim dial is currently on 7. That's a 3, we kill a xenomorph. It's fully automatic, so we can spend another one to keep attacking. So aim die is now down to 6. That is a 6. Another xenomorph dies. Her aim die is now down to 5. And let's keep pushing the luck. Spend a card, looking for 5. That is a 2. So those xenomorphs have gone entirely. Do you know what? We can probably pick off the solitary one by himself as well. So even though the aim dial is 4 and we're burning a card, see if we can kill that one. No, we don't. And that's the first sequence for Ripley. I think the rest of the guys can probably handle 1 xenomorph on its own, so we use Ripley's second action to move her speed of 5 up the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next let's activate... let's do Hicks, because I don't want to waste the cards for the smart gun just yet. So, Hicks can very much see from there, so he has a aim die of 6, spending a card to attack. That's a star, which counts as a 1 on these dice, so that xenomorph is destroyed. Okay, so the initial approach is clear, so we use his second action to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll activate the other Marines to move up the board. We'll get Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get Gorman. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll get Hudson. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just sticking to that side because I'm aware that spawn point 2 is there. We're not drawing motion tracker cards yet, but yeah, just good policy to have, I think. Okay, so that's the Marine phase done. So on to the Alien phase. Activate aliens. Currently no activations on the board. Activate blips. Now the white rimmed ones, as part of this mission, do not move during the regular, like the alien blips normally do. So they stay exactly where they are, but there are some other regular blips on the board. So let's see how far they go. So this blip here moves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and stops in front of the barricade. This one here moves 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we don't draw motion tracker cards yet because it's still just turn 1. So let's move straight on to turn 2. So, start the Marine phase, activating Ripley. She automatically recycles 2 endurance cards and then draws 1. So we'll draw 1. Shuffle a ton of cards you just drew back into the motion tracker deck. Ooh, that'd be quite nice to have. So, for Ripley's actions then, let's move up the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who was it that had the bypass? It's Hudson. Can he get the door this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4... in a space next to a computer token. Doesn't matter anyway, so we'll just stack him up on the door there. Let's get Frost in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gorman. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since Vasquez only used 1 action, so he only moves 4 spaces to get there, she can attempt to unbarricade that door, by which point we need to pass a tech test. Her tech skill is currently 4. So, 4 or less. That's a 9. That door is very much still barricaded. Okay, so the Marines have moved up the board. Vasquez has tried and failed to unbarricade the door, letting us into Hadley's Hope. So, on to the Alien phase. Still no active xenomorphs on the board, so we go straight to blips. This blip here, how far does he move? 4. So, okay, so he's activating, moving 4, but he's barricaded there. So we roll the alien die, and on a 4 or higher, so 50-50 chance, 4+, it breaks down the barricade. It does not, and that immediately ends its movement. So this blip here, how far does he go? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That door was not barricaded. Okay, so end of turn 2, barricade's holding that blip for now, but the other one's getting closer to us. We still need to unbarricade that door, however, as we move into turn 3. Okay, so at start turn 3, first off Ripley activates, we recycle 2 cards, and we draw 1. Yep, another event. Yeah, we'll get because she's got a decent tech value to attempt to unbarricade that door with the first one. Her tech value is 6. As a 7, she failed. Nothing else for her to do, so we might as well try again. Tech value. That's a 3. We unbarricade the door. And since we're all stood there, we do have line of sight to that blip. It is 3 xenomorphs. So 3 xenomorphs are waiting around there. Ripley's gone, so she can't actually do anything about that. Vasquez can draw a line of sight to it though. So let's open up with a smart gun. Because it's Vasquez, you only need to exhaust 2 cards when firing off her smart gun. Get both dice. Her aim value is currently 6. 10 and a 9. She misses. Ugh. Okay. Well, we've got plenty of endurance cards to burn at this point. We might as well. 1, 2 for a second action. 5 or less on either. That's a star. Okay, so 1's dead. Spending another card for full auto to let her go again. This time she is hitting on 4s or less. That's a 4 and a star, so another one dies. Now she is hitting on 3s or less, so let's spend another card. 3 or less on either. That's a 2. That's another 2. They're all gone. Shaky start with Vasquez, but we managed to mow them all down eventually. And that's her 2 actions done. So, our Xenomorph is still quite handily barricaded in there. Frost's Flamethrower can't be used for defensive fire, so he's probably best not to go near that just yet. Gorman has a shotgun though, so we could get him to stand next to it. So we'll get Gorman to move 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get Hicks to join him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frost does have a pistol, so he could probably use that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Hudson hasn't done anything yet, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and the Marines that only moved 4 to get there, Frost, Gorman and Hicks, they will use their other ones to rest and recycle some of these cards back into the Endurance deck. Okay then, so we've wiped out the Xenomorphs that are behind the barricaded door, but there is one there, and if it comes through we might have to try and take it out with defensive fire as we move into the alien phase. Currently no active Xenomorphs on the board, only one blip that can do anything, so let's see how far it moves. 1, okay. Well, it still attempts to destroy that barricade, and on a 4 or more it does. It does not. We hear a pounding on the door, but nope, it's still staying very much there. So, into turn 4. Good. So, start of it, Ripley activates, no cards to recycle, but we draw one anyway. Oh dear. Reveal cards until you reveal a blue card or you've revealed 5 cards. So, we're looking for a blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of them were blue. Discard all revealed cards. Ooh, okay, and we discard this because we didn't reveal another hazard. So they go straight into the discard pile. So that's not good to get to the start of this one. Oof. Okay, well, Ripley still gets to do her actions. So she moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's get her to try and unbarricade that door with a tech value of 6. That's a 2, the door is unbarricaded. And because of that, we get to see what that is. It's a solitary Xenomorph. Single Xenomorph behind the door. Explains why I couldn't break it down. So, moving on to the rest of the Marines then, because that's both of Ripley's actions. Hudson has a good line to it without moving, so let's fire him off first. He has an aim value of 6. Would be cheaper to fire off the pistol, so let's do that first. So, first shot is a freebie, so it hits on a roll of 6. Misses. Then we spend a card for the second shot, hits on a 5. Misses as well. Let's try that again. Second action with the pistol, hits on a 4. 7, spend another card, hits on a 3. So Hudson just empties his pistol into thin air. Great. Okay, let's get Hicks to have a poke. So I need to come around the corner to see it first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he'll fire off his pulse rifle, spending a card to do so. Hits on a 6. That's a 6. There we go. Hicks takes care of it. And that's both of his actions. So let's get who's good with tech, because if we get to that computer we can see what these blips are without wasting all of our time. We'll get Frost to run up to the computer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We shall get Vasquez to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll get Gorman to rest twice. Actually no, we'll get him to move once. 1, 2, 3, 4, and rest once to get all those cards back in the Endurance deck. Okay then, so that's the Marines done. So onto the alien phase. Activate aliens. Currently no aliens on the board. Activate blips. All the blips that are on our mission ones and they don't move. So Now it is turn 4, however, we start drawing motion tracker cards. So, first one, Alien Lurker. A single blip on spawn point 2, if it's not within line of sight, it immediately moves 4 spaces. So, single blip on 2, nobody can see it, so it moves 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second motion tracker card, blip on 1. If it's not within line of sight, it moves 4 spaces. Ripley cannot see spawn point 1 from there, so the single blip on moves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and flip, because we can see it now. It's 4 xenomorphs. So 4 xenomorphs come bounding around the corner to challenge Ripley as we move into turn 5. So at the start of turn 5, Ripley activates, recycles cards back in. None to currently recycle, but we do draw one. Spare helmet, why not? Okay, let's try and gun down these xenomorphs in front of Ripley, shall we? So we'll open up with the pulse rifle, spending a card to do so. Her aim is currently 7. That's a 9. So that's her first action wasted. For the second action, we'll try the same things. This time she's hitting on a 6. 9 again! No! Okay. Well, I suppose Ripley's still a civvy at this point, but yeah, that's some terrible aiming. Let's get Gorman to have a poke with the flamer. He needs to move in 1, 2 to be within range. There's 2 spaces away with the flamer, and we exhaust 2 cards for him to attack with it. So 1, 2. Now every xenomorph in that stack is hit on a 7 or less, and there are currently 4 in the stack. So first one dies, second one dies, third one dies, fourth one dies. There you go. Gorman showing how it's done. And there go all the xenomorphs. Okay, who was it had the bypass? It's Hudson. So let's get Hudson over to that computer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Frost can 1, 2 step over just to help him out. And Frost has a tech value of 5, so we'll get Frost to have a quick look on that computer and see if we can reveal one of the blips. So he's taking an interact action with that, so he takes a test, and if we pass, we can look at any one face down blip. So Frost's tech is currently 5, so 5 or less. That's a star, so we can look at any one blip. Let's have a look at the closest one, just so we know whether that's something we need to worry about or not. So that's 2 xenomorphs. Now I'm not certain if that's something we reveal and put models on the board and they know about us. Let me just check that. Okay, so the wording of the computer token is that you may look at any one face down blip token. It doesn't say you reveal it. So I think the wording of that means, yes, we know that is xenomorphs, but it's not revealed. It just goes back down as a blip, but we obviously know what's under it now, which is very nice to know, so we don't have to worry about getting into that room. Okay, so Frost has very helpfully told us which blip not to go for. Hudson used his full move to get there. Gorman's fired, Ripley fired. It's just Hicks and Vasquez left. So we know we're going to need to go that way. So let's get Hicks with... they've both got a tech value of 4, Hicks and Vasquez. We know we're going to need to go that way though anyway, so we'll get Vasquez to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and rest to shuffle 3 cards back into the endurance deck. And we'll get Hicks to join up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he can start work on the door next turn. Okay then, so going into the alien phase, there are currently no active aliens on the board, but there is a blip back here. So let's see what that blip there does. It moves 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reveal it, it's a single xenomorph. So a single xenomorph comes from the outside to take Ripley and Gorman by surprise. Let's fire off some defensive fire. Okay then, so the single xenomorph has come from spawn point 2 and has crept up on Ripley. So we get to fire a defensive shot with it with the pulse rifle. Spending a card to do so, she hits on a 5. I hope she does better this time. She does, that's a star. Manages to take out the single xenomorph creeping up behind them. Okay, now we draw more motion tracker cards. First one. Blip on 4. If it's not in line of sight, it moves 4 spaces. 4's there, no one can see it, so we get a blip on 4. and it moves 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one. Blip on 3. If it's not in line of sight, it moves 4 spaces. 3 is in line of sight, so it pops in and we reveal it. It's 3 xenomorphs. So 3 xenomorphs pop out the hole right in front of Hicks and Vasquez. Okay, so not looking too bad so far as we move into turn 6. So start the marine phase. Ripley activates. Let's recycle 2 cards back into the endurance deck, and she draws 1. Recycle up to 6 cards from the endurance pile. Ooh, that's not bad. And recycle 1 from the discard pile. That'll be good to do later. So definitely keep an eye on that one. Yeah, let's keep the squad together for the most part. So Ripley will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hang on, she was there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get Vasquez to move around because currently Ripley and Hicks are blocking her line of sight. 1, 2, 3. And she'll open up with a smart gun, spending 2 cards to do so. So both dice hitting on 6s or less on either. First one is dead. Spend another card hitting on 5s. Another one is dead. Spending another card hitting on 4s. 4. All 3 are dead. Cut down by the smart gun. Good job, Vasquez. Okay, let's use Hudson with his decent tech score to interact with the computer token and look at another blip. So his tech score is 6, so 6 or less. That is an 8. Nope, fails the first time. We use his second action to do the same thing. Gets a 2. So let's have a look at another one of these blips. So we know we're going to have to go into this corridor anyway, so let's look at the furthest ones so that we know we don't have to go there. Okay, so that one is nothing, it's just a ghost alarm, but it's not Newt. So we know Newt is one of these 2. Let's try and get Hicks to unbarricade that door right in front of him. He has a tech value of 4, so 4 or less. Nope. And again, for his second action, still no. So that door is thoroughly barricaded still. Gorman, let's get him to move up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go the full way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Frost will get him to interact with that computer. Maybe you can see which one of these is Newt. His tech score is 5, so 5 or less. That's a 3. Okay, let's have a look at this one. That's a single Sarge Xenomorph. So by deduction, Newt has to be there. So that's quite good. She's quite close to us. So we'll need to send Ripley in first, I think. So when she sees line of sight that she doesn't quite run off. Or maybe we send one of the other Marines in and put the Marine there. So when she sees him, she runs this way, which is actually closer to us instead of further in. That might not be a bad idea. Frost, that was his first action. So for his second one, we'll get him to recycle 3 cards back into the endurance deck. So on to the alien phase. No active xenomorphs. So we do blips. This blip here, how far does it move? It moves 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, no other blips, so let's do motion tracker cards. First one, false alarm, recycle a card. Yes, please. And the second one, 2 blips on 4. After you place blips, move each blip in play 3 spaces. Okay, so we get 2 blips popping out spawn point 4, and then each blip moves 3. I'm assuming these the mission ones don't still. So this one moves 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one, 1, and then attempts to get through the door. On a 4 it does. It does not, so it stops right there. Okay. Right, so that is the end of the turn. So, turn rolls over into turn 7. Start turn 7, Ripley activates. Currently no cards to recycle as part of it, but we do... Actually no, let's recycle some of these. We'll recycle these back in from our hand because I don't much like the look of them. We need more cards in. And then we draw 1. Spare pulse rifle. Okay. Not bad to have, I suppose. Okay. Ripley to activate normally then. Hicks and Vasquez are kind of in the way first. So let's actually get Hicks to activate and do... yeah, because he's got... Okay, tech score. Gorman's actually better though, and he... No, he's not next to it, so it has to be Hicks. So Hicks first. 4 or less. Nope. That's second action. Nope. Vasquez, I guess? 4 or less. No, and we'll use the second action to step out of the way so somebody else can have a go. And let's send Ripley in. 1, and then she'll have a go at the door with a tech skill of 6. Yeah, Ripley gets it. Door's open. So the door is unbarricaded, we're stood next to it, so that xenomorph is revealed as a pile of 4. So 4 xenomorphs on the other side of the door, ready and waiting. Okay. Also, we can draw a line of sight to these 2 down here, so we flip them. 3 and 1. So 4 more xenomorphs at the end of the corridor, and a nasty pack right there. Let's get Gorman to activate, and he'll move into the... Okay, so Gorman's going to stand around being useless then, because we can't actually move him past, because the instant he stands where Hicks is, the alien will stop him moving, and he can't stop on where Hicks is, so he's kind of stuck there. Let's do the other 2 then. So that's kind of pointless now. We don't need the computer. We know exactly where we need to go. So we'll get Frost to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get Hudson to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we're going to have to face down this pile of xenomorphs. Only Hicks and Ripley are able to do anything about it because they're blocking line of sight for everybody else. So, onto the alien phase. Activate aliens. There's 4 xenomorphs there. So, they immediately attack. They can attack both Hicks and Ripley, so we'll just dice roll to see who they do. 1 to 3, it's Ripley. They attack Ripley. So, everyone gets to fire defensive fire that can. So, Hicks first. Let's fire off his pulse rifle, spending a card to do so. Hits on a 6. That's a 2, kills 1. Spend another. Hits on a 5. Misses. And that's Hicks's defensive fire done. So there's 3 xenomorphs bearing down on top of Ripley. She gets to fire her defensive fire. Spends a card to do so. Hitting on a 7 or less. Kills 1. Spend another card. Hitting on a 6 or less. That's a 9. Nope. So we kill 1, but there are 2 xenomorphs still there. And because of that, they get to attack. So, rolling the marine die, since you add 1 to the value, if it is a 9 or 10, Ripley is dead. That's a start. And Ripley's melee value is 2, adding 1, that becomes 2. So she actually manages to kill a xenomorph in the process of defending herself. Very tidy. Rest of these xenomorphs here move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So some nice hand-to-hand work with Ripley there. Maybe that combat knife did help. So rest of the xenomorphs have moved up 6. So any blips on the board, there are currently no other blips. So we go straight to motion tracker cards. Draw 2. 1, response alarm, recycle a card. Yes, please. And the second one, single blip on 1. Players must either discard a barricade or place a second blip at 1. Well, spawn point 1's over there. Let's discard a barricade, I guess. I mean, it's not like we really care about those ones. So we get a single blip on spawn point 1. Okay then, so end of that turn. Ripley's proving quite adept at hand-to-hand as we move into turn 8. So start the marine phase, Ripley activates. Recycle 2 cards. And then draw 1. Okay, another event. Then Ripley to activate properly. There is a xenomorph right in her face still, so we'll spend a card for the pulse rifle. She hits on a 7 or less. That's an 8, she misses. And learning from last time, we'll use the second action to actually step back to let somebody else go in and have a go later. We got... Vasquez could actually see to that pile once the first one's destroyed, so we'll activate Vasquez first. So, spending 2 cards for her smart gun, hitting on 6s or less. That's a 6, so first one dies. Spending another card to fire into that pile of 3 behind it, hitting on 5s or less. That's a 5. One of these dies. Spending another card, 4 or less. That's a star, another one dies. One more card, 3 or less. Misses, unlucky. But that was her first action. We can probably handle 2 Xenomorphs with everybody else, surely. So we'll get Vasquez to rest with her second action, getting 3 of those cards she's just burnt back into the Endurance deck. Okay, then we'll get Hicks to go. So he's currently hitting on a 6, spends a card to fire his pulse rifle into that Xenomorph there, 6 or less. That's a 6, kills 1. Spend another card, 5 or less. 5, kills them both. Nice. That puts his aim dial down to 4. And that was Hicks's first action. So for his second one, okay, so let's think about this. If we chase, yeah, so if we get a Marine here and here, Newt can't run out. So we'll get Hicks to move into the building. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get Gorman to join him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Gorman can go there. Keep Frost outside, because it's good to have a flamer in each location, I think. We'll send Hudson in to help, just in case any nasties crawl out of spawn point 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll get him to rest with his second action. So getting some 3 cards back into the Endurance deck. We'll get Frost to move here, just so he's in the middle of everywhere and has a good line. And we'll get him to rest, getting the last 3 cards back in the Endurance deck. So, on to the alien phase. Active aliens, currently no active aliens. Active blip, where does that go? 3. 1, 2, 3. Activate motion tracker cards. First one, single blip on 4. If the spawn point already has a blip or alien, it moves 4 spaces. Spawn point 4 does not, but a blip appears on 4. Something for us to worry about later. Another one. Blip on 3, if it already has a blip, it moves, there is currently nothing on 3, but it pops in and it's straight within line of sight. It's 4 Xenomorphs. So 4 Xenomorphs crawl out right next to Ripley and Vasquez. Okay, so that's everything then as we go into turn 9. Start the Marine phase. Start the Marine phase then. Ripley activates. Let's recycle some of these cards back in. I'd rather have them in the Endurance deck than in my hand, and we draw one. Yep, just an event. We kind of need Ripley to go in after Newt, so even though there are some Xenomorphs there, we're going to ignore them and we're going to go straight after Newt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll move Gorman here. 1, 2, 3. He can draw line of sight to this blip. It's 4 Xenomorphs. 4 Xenomorphs standing on spawn point 4. Let's get Gorman to fire off his shotgun. Exhaust 1 card when you take an attack action, may only attack within 3 spaces, always hits on a 5 or less. So exhaust a card to do so, and he can't fire follow-up shots, but he hits on a 5. Hits, manages to take out 1 of the Xenomorphs. Let's get Hicks up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can draw a line of sight around that corner. And he's going to open up with his pulse rifle. Spends a card to do so. Hits on a 6. That's an 8. Misses. Oof. Okay, so we're going to have to defensive fire those Xenomorphs later, I think. Also, they can draw a line of sight to that blip from that position. Oh look, it's Newt. Newt appears on the board. So Newt is now a character in the game. Until she calms down, she activates after all other characters, and she takes 2 moves to take a path of ender movement as far away as possible from any Marine. Okay, so yeah, we've got problems there, but also Vasquez still has problems there from last time. Let's get Frost up to help first, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, because then he can fire his flamer there and not hurt himself or Vasquez. And he fires off the flamer, exhausting 2 cards to do so. And every Xenomorph in that stack of 4 is hit on a 7 or less. First one, dies. Second one, lives. Third one, dies. Fourth one, lives. So manages to kill off 2 Xenomorphs with the flamethrower, but there are still 2 there. So let's see if Vasquez can mop them up with the smart gun. So exhausting 2 cards for her to fire her smart gun. 2 dice, 6 or less on either. Misses! Ah! God's sake, Vasquez. Okay, let's exhaust 2 more cards to try again. 5s or less. Kills 1. And exhaust another card. 4s or less. Misses. Okay, so we're probably going to have to defensive fire those guys later as well. Ugh. Okay. So at this point, everybody's gone. So Newt activates and she moves to be as far away from the other Marines, ignoring Ripley. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because at that point she'd be getting too close to Hudson, so she kind of just ends up there. Okay, on to the alien phase then. Active aliens. There's a couple. So they step in 1, 2, and take a swipe. 1 to 3, it's Gorman. Nope, they attack Hicks, but they get to fire defensive fire off first. So Hicks spends a card with his pulse rifle, hitting on a 5 or less. That's a 5, kills 1. Spends another card, 4 or less. Yep. Spends another card, 3 or less. No. Gorman gets to fire defensively. He can't do his flamer, but he can do his shotgun. So it spends a card to do so. Hits on a 5 or less because it's a shotgun. No, misses. Misses with the shotgun at point blank. Okay, so the Xenomorph goes after Hicks then. It's just 1 on his own. So let's see what he gets. That's a 3. So Hicks's melee value is 2. So the Xenomorph is not killed as part of it, but does that knock Hicks down? I think it does. Yep, so Hicks has been knocked down by the Xenomorph that Gorman failed to blast with a shotgun at point blank range. So we need to get that Xenomorph gone and have none next to him at the start of the next turn, otherwise he might get dragged off to the hive. This single Xenomorph up here, 1 to 3, it goes after Frost. It goes after Frost. So it steps there and takes a swipe. Frost has himself a pistol, so he hits on... he did fire his flamer earlier, so it reduces his aim value to 4. Misses. Vasquez can see the Xenomorphs though, so she will attempt to fire a smart gun. Reshuffle these first. Okay, so they've been reshuffled, so we spend 2 to activate the smart gun. She's hitting on 3s or less with both dice. Misses. Okay, so that Xenomorph takes a swipe at Frost. That's a 5. I could attempt to use his body armour. If you fail the defense roll, reveal a card. That could give us a reroll. But you know what, with a single Xenomorph, I'm thinking it might be a better idea to let that go, because I don't want to risk killing Frost, and I can easily kill him, the Xenomorph with other people later. So we'll let that slide for now. So Frost is knocked down by the Xenomorph. Active blips then. There's only 1 on the board. It's over here. It moves 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is in line of sight. It's 4 Xenomorphs. So 4 Xenomorphs are charging down the corridor. So Hudson's on his ass. Frost is on his ass. More Xenomorphs are incoming as we move into turn 10. Okay then, so start the Marine phase. To activate Ripley, she automatically recycles 2 cards in and draws 1. Ooh, that'd be nice to have, but let's get these back in. And let's get Ripley to attempt to calm Newt down. She needs to take an interact and needs a 4 or less. So spending a first action to interact with Newt, 4 or less required. That's a 7. Second action, 4 or less. 7 again. So Newt's still panicking. Let's get Gorman to try and shoot down that Xenomorph in front of him. Spends the card for the shotgun. Hits on a 5 or less. Second action, spend a card, 5 or less because it's a shotgun. Yes, kills the Xenomorph. Good. Okay, so we're going to need to activate Vasquez. So she spends 2 cards to do so using the smart gun. She is hitting that Xenomorph next to her on 6 or less with either. That's a 4, kills that Xenomorph. Good start. Turns of attention to this pile over here. Spends another card, 5s or less. Kills 1. Another card, 4s or less. Kills another. Another card, 3s or less. kills them. Last one, 2s or less, spending a card. Come on, Vasquez. Star, yep, kills. Good. Good work with the smart gun right when we needed it. Although her aim dial is now reduced to 1, so she's practically useless for the rest of it. But good work, Vasquez. So, although they can't do anything, there's no aliens around them, so Hicks and Frost will stand up at the start of the alien turn, no problem, so we don't need to worry about them for the rest of it. So that was Vasquez's first action to shoot into that, so we'll use the second one to try and get some of these cards back in. Because, oh boy, we're running short after that particular deluge of smart gun fire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and interact to try and calm Newt down, needs a 4. Nope. Okay, and that's the Marines done. So start the alien phase, the knockdown characters stand back up. Active aliens, currently none on the board. Active blips, currently none on the board. Okay, I have just realised that I forgot to draw motion tracker cards last turn, so we'll draw 4 for this one, just to try and make up for it. So, first one, 4. Spawn point on 4. If there's already one there, it moves. Spawn point on 4, nothing there, so it does not move. It is in line of sight, however, so it's revealed as 5 xenomorphs. We'll reveal these all later once we've done the motion trackers. Number 2. Ooh, place 2 blips on each tunnel and spawn point. Okay. So, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yes. Third one. 2 blips on 1. I forgot where spawn point 1 is because they're currently crawling with xenomorphs. They're up there. 2 more blips on spawn point 1. Exhaust 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. Single blip on 4. Must either discard a barricade or put another. Yeah, I'll discard a barricade. You can quite happily have yourself another blip on 4, and we'll get rid of this barricade here. Okay, so all of these are in line of sight. So quite a few xenomorphs there. These ones are not. These ones are not. These are 5 and 2. Oh dear. Okay, so about to get quite close and uncomfortable with a lot of xenomorphs, so I'm just going to get those models on the board. Okay then, so we have a whole host of xenomorphs coming after us. Forgot to move Newt as well, so she moves 1, 2, 3, so she's roughly between Hudson and Gorman. Okay, yeah, I think it's definitely flamethrower time as we go into turn 11.